Hi, Tina.
Hi, Patrick. Okay, so I'm Tina, and I've been part of the P4 program this year, 2017. And Raphael asked Patrick and I to visit with you about what P4 has been like for us, in case you're interested in thinking about doing it. So, hi, Patrick.
Hey, Tina. I'm really excited to talk to you about it today. I think we've had an opportunity to talk about the program before and how it's impacted us, and I think this will be a very valuable conversation.
Yeah, it's a real pleasure to talk about it because it's been such an amazing program. So the first thing I want to say is that Raphael himself is just the most remarkable facilitator and human being. And I love having this opportunity to spend, a year. We had 9 months, but to spend a long period of time under his coaching and in his presence, because he said he intended to create the safest group on the planet. And I think he really has the chops to do that. He's amazing.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think you nailed it on its head when you said that he creates a safe group. Because I've seen such a wide range of facilitators in my career, and I happen to train and facilitate as well. So I've spent time on both sides of the fence, both as a participant in groups and as a facilitator of groups. And my opinion of Raphael is he's actually probably one of the best group facilitators I've ever seen, both as the recipient or someone who delivers facilitation.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that really and that what really differentiates Raphael from others that I've seen is that he makes it not only safe for everybody to be in the group and show up as they are, but also it extends to allowing us to be vulnerable within the group. And that made for such a richer experience where in the magical way that Raphael works, he creates an environment where sharing is okay. And not sharing is okay too. So it makes a lot of things okay.
Yeah, he does. And he himself is very transparent.
Yeah.
So he models this kind of deep willingness to be with wherever you are and accept the parts of yourself that maybe you didn't think were ever acceptable. And he somehow is so invitational and so generous with his um, understanding of what a human being is, that he just makes space for all this stuff that you thought, well, maybe I'm never going to say that to anybody. I'm certainly never going to say that to a group, maybe to a therapist. But to be able to share that kind of stuff, the really most vulnerable, most difficult stuff in a group of people, I really honor how gifted he is at
Yeah.
that.
So I agree. I think it's easy. It would be easy to. It's funny. I bet you if Raphael knew that we were saying all these things about him, it might make him a little uncomfortable because, in terms of, he's also humble. I mean, he brings the vulnerability, humility, and he shows up exactly as you said, exactly as you've said.
Yeah,
He's the facilitator of the group, but he is part of the group, and he's as important to the group as every other member is.
yeah, that's beautifully put. Yeah,
Yeah. So I just want to throw that in there just to make sure that because I've been involved in programs before where it's all about the facilitator, and I wanted to make sure that we're balanced about the fact that we're actually probably giving Raphael praise, and it's probably still not reflective of how we feel.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And I have a lot more things to say too. I just wanted to start with Raphael because I think there's something really remarkable about the fire he lights under this program.
I agree wholeheartedly. It is
Yeah,
a unique experience because of his approach.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. I also want to say how great has been to do this over the course of, for us, 9 months. For other people, it'll be a whole year. Um, I think it's a brilliant model. It's the most life-changing model of the kind of inner work that I've done, and I've done a lot. You know, I went to Byron Katie's School for the Work, which was incredible. It's 9 days, 24 hours a day, break you open and really rearrange how you see the world. But then you go back into your life and have to integrate that way. And this process, because you come together once a month and you work with your partner during the month, and you set a guiding intention at the beginning of your growing edge, you get so much time to change and to integrate it into your life and to practice. It's just transformative.
I'd have to agree. I like the word you used, that his approach, his model for the facilitation and the program itself is unique because it's completely experiential. So everything that we do happens either in person or it happens in a video conference call or telephone calls. And then you have interaction with your partners. So first, the modalities, the way in which you interact in the program, there are multiple ways to build relationships. And I think that really helps. That we speak individually with one another, we speak in small groups at times, we work in the large group, we have the retreats on either end, sort of to bookend the experience. So we get to see each other under a myriad of circumstances, which I think adds to the richness. And I want to completely underscore what you said earlier, which is there is a big difference between going to a training program, getting the dump, or having a transformative experience and then sort of being injected back into the world versus working on things as they evolve. So a lot of what happens in P4, I think, or my experience is that we grew individually, we also grew as a group. And the relationships that we were able to form because of the way the experience was structured, I feel like I have several new family members.
I agree. The partner work that we do, each month gives us such a chance to make a deep connection with, one person at a time. And then as the months go on, now we've fallen in love over and over with all these people that we've been partners with. And then when we get together in the big group, there's such a sweetness and dynamic energy and safety. I keep coming back to safety because something really important is created by the depth of the work we get to do together. Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting. I'm trying to avoid giving specifics about the experience in the sense that I would like every participant to have a unique new experience in the program. So I think that's why we're keeping our comments a little bit more general about our experience. I'm not sure if we're going to talk about showing up as you are in this one, or are we talking about that in the...
Well, what the group, because the third thing that's really important to me about this is
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So when I was thinking about this, I thought, well, Raphael is, I've got to sort of give some kind of tribute to him, and the fact that it's a year long is incredible. But maybe the most amazing part is this community of people that you get to suddenly, or not suddenly, gradually and deeply belong to. So we had 12 people, and we met in person and began this process. And then when we got together again 6 months later, we had all grown so much individually, and we had grown together to be, I don't know, a kind of community that I have never had.
Yes.
In the sense that, okay, this is a group of people I can share parts of myself with that I have, maybe shared with a therapist, but not with a group, a whole witnessing. Yeah. So I have more to say about that, but let's hear what you.
I'm really glad. I love the way in which your thoughts were structured around Raphael as facilitator, the structure of the program and doing it over the time period that we're doing it and how we built. But ultimately, I think exactly what you're saying is the entire experience serves the purpose of building those relationships. And I've been involved in programs where I do develop relationships with people after being with them for an entire week on a retreat or in a particular type of training. And there are relationships and bonds that continue beyond the program, but that was always secondary to the program. What's interesting about this approach is I was expecting the same thing, to learn something, develop some relationships, and over time they may or may not. What I didn't expect was that there were going to be 11 other people that I really care about and that I think about, that I wish them well. I know that if I needed to talk, or if they wanted to talk to me, I would make time for that, because each person has in the group, my experience has been that everybody has made a commitment to show up and bring who they are. And over the 9-month period, it started that way, but what I'm amazed by is how much more deeply you can go when you experience people, whether it's through their good times or whether through their difficulties, and realizing that there are so many commonalities, even though we all have such vastly different experiences, and we come from different places with different countries even, that somehow the commonality, the humanity in all of us showed through during the program in one way or the other. And that is something that in my experience is rare.
Yeah, it's remarkable. I think, people who want to do this, you kind of come with a certain willingness to be deeply changed. You enter something like this because you're ready. So that's when I thought about this and doing something like this. I thought, okay, this is my tribe. People who want to do really deep work. And then I found I was a little scared of it, because how much intimacy am I going to be able to handle? And that turned out, I'm glad I noticed it and felt it, but that turned out not to be in any way a problem. I had room, because it was just one person at a time each month. And I just kept opening and opening. And my little moment of, oh my gosh, this is really going to go into some very deep places. I was right about that, and I was ready. I don't know if you want to say something. I have.
Well, I think this is a good example, actually, tying the idea of Raphael as facilitator and my experience. He has a phrase that he uses, and I think it was in his The One Thing Holding You Back, his book, The One Thing Holding You Back. It was, you can only go as fast as the slowest part of yourself.
Yes.
And I think that what you're talking about, that phrase for me captures the essence of what you're saying, in the sense that you could go as deeply as you would like or not.
Right.
And I believe we all went more deeply than we thought we would, and we're probably surprised at how liberating it was, how it was. And what I mean by that is that I felt completely okay just being myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that I was in a room full of people that were being themselves. And I don't think we were worried about what other people were thinking. But we also felt comfortable enough to just let it be. And I'd like to add one more thing that actually surprised me, is that Raphael takes things and makes them fun. So sometimes there are some heavy moments, and actually, quite frankly, I don't think there were a lot of heavy moments. I think there were more moments of play and then moments of insight, and then perhaps a moment of difficulty, but they never lasted I mean, when I say difficulty, how would I describe that? Resistance. If there was resistance that ever came up, it came up. And if it, whatever happened in the room was okay. And that makes everything okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the second, another thing I'd like to add is not only does he make it fun, the other thing that also sticks in my mind, the whole thing about, you can only go as fast as the slowest part of yourself. The other thing that I really love is that he starts off everything by saying it's a no-fail zone. So if you know you can't fail at this, and there's nothing you're going to be judged about, whether you're doing it right or wrong, or assessing or bargaining or judging, I love the fact that we talked about that right up front, and it went out the window for the next 9 months.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And something, I don't know if I can articulate this very well, but that happened as a result of doing this in a group, as opposed to just, say, working one-on-one with Raphael or somebody over the year, is that as I brought my whole self to the group, and my growing edge was to show up bigger in the world. And I felt like I showed up fully to this group of people and was witnessed by them. And that was like a practice zone for being bigger in the world.
Yeah.
And so when I knew that I could do it, I knew what it felt like. I knew that people would see me and not be turned off or afraid, and that I was okay to be fully in the world, because a whole group of people had been with me in my biggest space. That has really changed my feeling about being in the world. That I can be in the world with just somewhat bigger energy, or more. My light is more on than it was.
Well, I can tell you this. So what would be great is if this only happened with one person, I would have been happy. But this happened with you. I feel like I got to see the light in each individual. And there were different moments during our experience together that I really felt as if I saw the essence of each individual. And so, for example, in your case, I always want more, because your light shines so brightly. You're so enthusiastic and creative and imaginative. And if we had met under different circumstances, I'm not sure that I would have seen you the way I see you today.
Right.
And it's been a wonderful experience, because I can say that for almost every person in the group, that in one way or another, we've seen each other, and it's all been good. It's all been fine. The good stuff, the bad stuff, or whatever you want to call it, whatever, the challenging things, the happy things, it's all, there's space for everything.
And isn't that such a gift?
Yeah.
We don't get that in the world mostly. We don't get really deeply, actively seen for who we are most of the time. Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, and it reminds you how special every individual is.
Exactly.
Every individual is special.
Yeah. If you have the opportunity to really connect with them. Yeah, it does.
And so to have this as a vehicle, I think for me, that's what makes it really special.
Yeah, I agree. We were pretty lucky.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And so if you're watching this video, I'd just like to say that we wish you luck in making your decisions. And at least for me, it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made about any program I've ever been involved with over my lifetime.
I agree. And how would I ever know Patrick if it weren't for this? He lives in New Jersey.
Yeah, absolutely. Coast to coast.
Yeah, no, I wish you luck as well thinking about this. And it's been really fun to see you, Patrick, and connect with you today. So
it's been a great opportunity. Thank you so much, Tina. Take me well.